Am I feeling like hopeless? Okay, shine the moon we your best. Open way, hopeless, open way, baby. The moon we your best.
Yeah. Hey, peace to the party. So I had to do an impromptu. I had to do an impromptu breakdown because it's been a lot going on. And for the people, for the YouTube people, y'all already know how I'm moving. But a partner of mine, he asked me. He said, "Hey, bro, how you be doing your research? Like, how did you come to the conclusion that you came to when it comes to this case, right?" And I treat it like I do anything else. So I've been doing independent news, media, whatever you want to call it, basically for the better part of 5 years now. All right. And because of technology, we got a lot of different ways to access information directly from the people. And that's the best way to get it, right? Directly from the source. They can give you their unfiltered thoughts, especially if it's live. Live video is always the best because it can't be chopped up and edited. People who know content understand. That's why the real life streaming that's going on right now, that's why it's top ranked. But anyway, we're gonna get to the facts of the matter, right? So over the last few days, we had several people within this case come out and do public interviews. The first one, Jeff Metcalf, the father of Austin Metcalf, he did an over 3 hour long live stream on X, formerly Twitter, right? A profile named Jinxed Sip, I think is what the lady Sarah Fields, who been following the case from the beginning, right? Obviously on the Metcalf side. So I watched this whole thing, no lie, the whole 3 hours. Then I watched the Anthony family go on the Breakfast Club. It was about 30 some minutes. It was not live. It was pre-recorded, but I watched the whole thing. And then I think last night, Dominique Alexander, the activist that we all have seen that did the press conferences when we first learned about the event nationwide, right? He had an interview with a platform named Nick at Night. Excuse me. Shout out to him. Had an hour or so interview with him. Watched the whole thing. Okay, so the number one way that you're gonna have a real viewpoint is take in information from all sides, not just the side you like. Because you got a weakness in your defense, because you don't even know what the other side information is. You just riding off what you think to be true, but you never challenging that by hearing the other side. Okay, so I listened to all three of these after having my own thought about the case, which I've publicly shared. I ain't been straddling the fence. I told people where I stood with it, but it wasn't because I'm trying to be with white people or go against the grain for the fun of it. It's because out of my own opinion, from what I went in to do my own due diligence, the case and the way that it unfolded, Buddy looked guilty, period. And I still stand behind that and all the evidence that came out. It got nothing to do with race, okay? So with that being said, I want to play some of that for y'all. They ask how I'm coming to my thought process. People be, I done had folks, they feeling so bad, they act like they want to fight me, come do something to me. All kind of crazy shit, bro. That don't faze me, man, because I know what I'm really standing behind. It got nothing to do with clickbait content. I don't need that, bro. I've been doing what you see right here with the crew, the Autonomous Party, for years, teaching genealogy, teaching real research and history about your own family, how to move in commerce. My resume is already solidified when it comes to that. It just so happened that certain content catch on with our people much faster than the boring informational stuff. That ain't my problem. You feel me? So I'm gonna go and use the platform that's been given to do the assignment that's been given to me by the big guy. That is what it is. All right. So as I'm doing my research, I see a lot of things that I'm finding, and I'm starting to feel away about these families as I'm being invested into this case, right? So I want to play you. Let's start it off with Jeff Metcalf. Now remember, this is a live stream straight from his word. I'm sure y'all didn't seen the racist clip, but I'm gonna show y'all how he played y'all if you didn't go watch the whole thing. And I'm sure the majority of y'all who got an opinion, ain't no way y'all went and watch that 3 hour live stream because you don't care like you say you do. You just want to have an opinion that go with everybody else to let off your emotions. But check this out.
From Coach Jackson and said, Jeff, all I know is Austin has been stabbed. I asked him where. He said Kirkendall Stadium. I immediately hung up the phone and I made it there in about 4.5 minutes. When I arrived, it was pretty chaotic. A lot of police cars, a lot of people. I ran through probably 10 different officers who tried to stop me. When I did reach the track, the scene that I saw was my son, Austin, and they had a C machine on it, which actually it automatically pumps on your chest. But when I saw him, I knew he was gone. I prayed for a miracle. And as soon as that happened, I asked the ambulance, the EMTs, what hospital they were taking him to. And once they instructed me where they were going, I directed my attention to finding Hunter. And they said he was taken to the locker room in the field house. So I proceeded to go run over there. And I found Hunter, who was uncontrollably out of control, bawling, emotional wreck. So I have to try to gather him and maintain myself. And all we do is we pray, we pray, we pray. And I tell him, let's go, let's go. I'm taking you to the hospital. You're riding with me. And we get in the car and we're praying. Because I am praying for a miracle at this point because I know my son was gone. But we get to the hospital. We get in the room. I have to make the phone call to his mom when we were driving to inform her to meet us at the hospital. By this time, the word's getting out to certain family members. Certain people are showing up at the hospital. Takes probably, I'd say, a good 10 minutes before the doctors come in. I knew what was fixing to be said. I knew by the look on their face that Austin had passed away. And they confirmed that. That very second, Hunter spun out of control. And it took 5 officers to get him under control. We had to admit him and get him sedated. And then at that point, they wouldn't allow us to see our son because now it is a crime scene. So they have to process the body. So for over 2 hours, we can't even see Austin. And by this time, a huge crowd of students, parents, friends is overflowing this hospital. So distraught over the news of Austin's passing. That moment, I became totally numb and went into what I call survival function mode. I had to find and buy burial plots, funeral homes, arrangements, so many things that had to be done. And I needed to stay focused. That very first night, our church held an impromptu vigil. Our church holds 1,500 people at Hope Fellowship. It was overflowing. There was over 1,700 people that showed up that night. Very touching. An outpouring from the community, friends, family, even people who didn't know us showed up in support. And I spoke that night about who Austin was. He was a leader, on and off the field. He touched people's hearts in ways others couldn't.
All right, so check this. So you a parent, you a father, mother, it don't matter. You a parent, period. Ain't no way the human side of you hearing what go on, and you not like, damn, since when is it cool that we gonna beef and celebrate behind anybody kid dying, bro? What type of sense do that make, bro? That ain't never the thing to be on. It don't matter what race a kid is, bro. So that man not only had to deal with what's going on with his own son, the media has propped up something to make black folks go against this man's family, bro. That it don't matter who that's happening to, that's crazy. The same way in the rap industry, these folk were going around talking about the boy Tuka, all this shit Charleston White was saying. When it comes to those things, he was right, which is crazy that he took such a hypocritical stance on this, but that's a whole nother thing. All of us can be held for accountability, bro. That's just facts. All right. And that shouldn't have to depend on what you look like, bro. That just is what it is, right? So this him establishing and going through this, like I say, this was 3 hours. He went on 3 hours easy and recalled all kind of stuff. You could tell that he was venting because for those of y'all who didn't know, all of them had a gag order, not just his side, the Anthony side too. So that's why they're now coming out because the gag order is over. You feel me? But he went 3 hours strong and he named names, and we're going to get to all that. As a man, he's standing here ready to fight for his family and make sure the story get corrected because he's not happy with how it turned out. He clearly wanted more time than what was given, and he said it out of his own words. But I want to go in. We on the scene, right? This on the day that it happened. So now let's go over here real quick to the Anthony family. They on the Breakfast Club. This is when they saying what Carmelo told them happened.
Pretty blessed community. That's why I hope a lot of people get this message. It don't matter where you at. It don't matter where you at. We was supposed to be in the safest place, but it's like they're telling us that you could be assaulted, but you better not fight back. That's what this is what this case is saying. Yeah. It could be 2-3 people, size, it don't matter. Yeah. So that's what this case is really all about. The family is saying now, I just got a message, they saying they were robbed. Now they were robbed. Now, mind you, if
they as in the Metcalf family?
I've just got this thing just popped up saying they're saying people are robbed. If we don't get the message now, and it's not because it's our child, we would never get it. Mm-hmm. This is the most crucial time ever, especially if you have kids. Because again, you see the child I'm telling you about right now, mm-hmm. We all have kids like that. We sent them off to school. Mm-hmm. We sent them off just not looking for it. Again, he didn't go look for this. That's why they try to paint that picture. Mm-hmm. They painted a picture and he didn't look for this. This walked into his life. Literally, matter of fact, they say it like this. The evidence shows he jumped 3 bleachers to get to him.
Mm. Now, so did the jury hear that information? And is that information on the video?
That's on the video.
And they had their minds made up.
Their mind was made up.
It's already made up.
Key thing, they said it was on the video. Y'all keep that in mind.
Three bleachers. Some say one, some said three, some said five. They all their statements was inconsistent.
So
Every
tell us,
statement was inconsistent.
because we haven't seen that video, what did that video show?
The video showed, honestly, you can show that you can see him coming into the tent, sitting down, and then it's like it started getting a little like you couldn't tell the people. But you know, we're experts. Let me tell you what the DA did. They put a spotlight on the boys, right? So you could see them, right? But they never put a spotlight on Carmelo. And the reason why is because, of course, they was trying to make their side look like, oh, it wasn't that bag of push. The whole thing moved. Even the guy EP said in his statement, it was so bad to where it pushed him out the way. Because he's some pretty big kids.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty tried to minimize their doing, but I've heard people who would supposed to be justice if in Texas, if I threaten you when I'm like, you have the right to do whatever force if you fear for your life.
So the video showed, I'm sorry, go ahead, Kayla.
No, he said if you fear for your life or
Seriously body home. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they were trained jujitsu fighters too.
Mm-hmm. And so the video that you all that they showed in court, it shows him running away from.
Yeah, he ran to the teacher. The teacher said that the teacher he ran to a guy, and the teacher he ran to actually he hugged him because Camilo, he's not like that. He hugged the guy. Like he was freaking out. He hugged the guy. So the guy they was hugging, he was crying hysterically, and they tried to paint it as if he was trying to leave. But
Now,
then in court they said it that he wasn't trying to leave.
yeah. Now, did this teacher testify?
He did.
Yes. And he also said he had to stop another kid from jumping on Carmelo, which was, guess what? Supposed to have been a person that was his friend.
Now, at this point, as I'm listening to them, bro, I was getting frustrated because I knew that he was lying. He was trying. So that part is true, buddy. So the star witness, the reason why he even came to the tent, he called him EP, but he grown. They released his name is Eddie. Eddie said, "Yeah, I dapped him up. And we was there. We spoke, sat down, because he was there for minutes. He was there. He ain't just stopped there for a second. He sat there for minutes, bro. But then after, when people realized what Carmelo had did, they started chasing him to get him because they rock with old boy Austin. This is what happened. So he trying to twist it as if it was this group beforehand that was trying to do harm to him and he was running and then they caught up to him. You see how he painted this picture? He coming with the trained jiu-jitsu, man. He ain't even know these boys before then. So how would he even know that? They the one got a memorized script that they was given. But now, since it didn't turn out in their favor, they trying to blame everybody. But keep listening though.
The guy who, hey man, come on, look, hey, if you've been to high school, think about it. The guy that told you to come over here, you sitting down, the same person who could have de-escalated the whole thing, he was trying to go after him. And that's the same guy that was playing like he was videoing, but they couldn't find the video. He was the police didn't really even try to go through his phone to even look for the video. So he said he was acting as if he was recording.
Now, when he was running, was this before or after the incident happened?
It's after the incident.
This is after the incident.
That's why they came up with the, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
That's why they came up with the narrative that he
was running.
Yeah, he threw the knife. When he didn't throw the knife. His hand was cut. So it's a lot that the video show, if you ever been on high school bleachers, You're not on the stairs. You know how you try to walk. So imagine trying to run up, he fell. So what you think fell? He only went up. They caught it in 3 bleachers. It was like 3 bleachers up. It was 3 bleachers up. So when you can see him get up.
So you see how he going back to the 3 bleachers. Now the 3 bleachers come in when he leaving and running away after what he had done. And then people was chasing him. It wasn't beforehand that he was being chased. You see what I'm saying? Switching it up. And that's why he mumbling and fumbling over his word because he ain't got no conviction behind what he's saying. Now, let me paint this picture for you because everybody talking about they want to ride and slide for Carmelo, but this is his own daddy. And his daddy, what he is alleging right now is that they was cheated by not only their defense attorney that they paid, it wasn't no public defender. So they got played by the attorney. They got played by Dominique Alexander. They son just got 35 years. And then the father is talking crazy to him. And he up here mumbling and fumbling, ain't got no action behind it. His son ain't got no money for the appeal. But all y'all talking about putting everything in jeopardy. Folks getting fired and all behind this man. He ain't doing nothing but talking, sounding, man, he sounds soft as hell on him.
You could tell he dropped it. Then he stood up. He didn't know where to go. Then he ran down, fell, and they was coming after him. He ran around and ran to a coach.
So did the video show the altercation of them approaching him first and then the confrontation? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you talk to your defense attorney about any of these concerns that you had as the trial was playing out, or even now that the trial is over?
100%. I mean, I'm actually praying that sending somebody that we get sent somebody that can help us. It's kind of like I'm still right now in shock, so I'm just moving on and drilling right now. Like
so you're looking for a new defense attorney for future appeal process.
Yeah.
And did your defense attorney say anything about how he feels or they feel the case went?
I'm going to say they gave us the corporate answer. They gave us the corporate answer,
And did Carmelo want to testify?
What does the corporate answer mean? Like, why is you giving us soliloquies and tell us exactly what they said, bro? You should remember this vividly. A default done played on you, and your son you saying he took an L, right? You saying that y'all didn't think this was going to happen, and you don't remember what they said? How you don't remember what your defense said that you paid for?
In his own on his own behalf and was
survived. It was based on everything. It didn't need nothing because everything they said when it's self-defense, they have to prove it. They never proved it.
Okay. So that was never, that was, because I know there was this pause and a lot of people thought that, we were going to come back and he was going to take the stand and he didn't. So that was never an option. That had never been discussed of him taking the stand.
That's why we just need we need somebody who's going to fight. Mm-hmm. That's what I can really say right now. We just need somebody going to fight for him. Mm-hmm. Because their whole thing was he provoked it. That was their entire case. He provoked it. That's what the whole thing was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what do you want the world to know about who Carmelo is and what your family is going through right now?
We're going through hell. Doesn't feel real. We feel like, it just don't feel real.
Hey, so obviously as parents, right? Even if you do things right, you never know what the mistake that your child made could be one that cost them a lot. So you can't just castigate them right off the dump. I feel that. I ain't my objection and my problem with the way that he handled it is after everything came out, because he could have handled this much differently. Because he go on to say in this that literally his son had zero accountability. He said that his son didn't do nothing wrong. He's making it seem like they placed him at a scene that he was not at with a weapon that he did not possess on a video that he wouldn't know around dozens of people. I don't care who you are. That's going to come with some prison time, bro. Like, what is we even talking about here? The best you can do is plead it down and explain your circumstances of what happened in that moment, but the dodging the accountability and taking these folks to trial, what anybody, you don't even got to be, it's some boys who have been down to the jailhouse and the prison who could be some excellent legal lawyers that would have told you for free that is not the route you want to take. So there's no way that they can make me believe that the lawyers that they hired suggested to take it all the way to trial from day one when they seen all the evidence. Because anybody who ever didn't had any trial work or something go on, you know that if you paying for a defense, they include you in what's happening. You ain't gonna show up to court and then this the first time you hearing about who the witnesses are, what the discovery looked like. You feel me? Like that's not how this works. So for him to sit on here and come on this internet and act like he had no idea when you had a whole year of your son fighting for his life and you saying he innocent, but you don't know the case like the back of your hand because Dominique Alexander said something different. And we know he was right there with him the whole time. So it seemed like since it didn't play out, he himself is trying to escape accountability. He tried to come out later and say after he failed his son because of the way the trial played out. But it's never about the actions and what led up. And I can tell in his demeanor that this probably where it come from. Bro ain't standing on what he believe in. If what he's saying is true in his heart, I don't see it through his eyes and his speech and the way he carrying himself. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? So check it out. So he said they living in hell. That's what he said. We get their version of the facts. Okay? He said they living in hell. So let's take it back over here to Jeff Metcalf. Let's hear what he got to say. Because he was way more direct in naming names and you name it. He wasn't doing all that beating around the bush like bro was. Watch this.
One moment. Jinx, how does the camera work for the stream now?
All right, boys and girls. I could probably sit here and talk for another 2 weeks, but we're not going to do that. I will mention one other topic before I get with questions, and that's going to be the Frisco ISD incidents and treatment. First, I will say this. Mike Waltrip, the superintendent who has recently resigned and retired, is the most spineless, coward piece of shit I've ever met in my entire life. This is the same individual who got pressured from Dominique, irrelevant minister, whatever, Alexander, and the
Remember he said this. So the father is mentioning Dominique to prove that he was involved like he said he was.
Freeman Group saying that we're going to riot if you don't let him graduate. They folded like a cheap tent to the pressure. It went against, I even had a meeting with them, and all he could say was, I followed the law, I followed the law, I followed the law, like a little parrot. No, following the law and doing the right thing is not always the same thing. You hid behind the law because you're too coward. You can't be a man to stand up and do the right thing. I showed you in your handbook, mandatory expulsion, murder, mandatory attendance policy. He didn't go back to school after April 2nd. I don't give a shit if he had the credits. Didn't make the attendance. Shouldn't have been able to graduate. You still gave a murderer a diploma. But yet you didn't respond to my ex-wife's email till after the elections. You waited over 30 days to respond with a callous, incompassionate response that just showed how shallow you were. And then when I got to meet you face to face, you little bald-headed piece of shit, you sat there and looked me in the eye and said, I didn't fold. Well, who did? The buck stops with you. You're the superintendent. Thank God you're no longer here. Everyone thinks you did such great things for Frisco. Really? Then why do we have declining enrollment? Why are we losing funding because of populations and growth displacement? Why are we having people homeschool their kids more? I can tell you, because Frisco ISD is no longer what it used to be. Just like this town is no longer than what it used to be. Now, I'm not here to talk about H-1 visa fraud or different ethnic groups who have decided to invade Frisco. Everyone can live where you want to live. But this complexity of this city has changed dramatically. And I'm not saying it's for the better. But Frisco ISD, with the video, when they fumbled that whole ordeal, oh, we're not going to let the police have it. We're going to hold on to it because Frisco ISD owns it. But we're going to open it up to let people come in and view it. But you have to sign in, but you can't tape it. And then you screw it up and you let a child pedophile, convicted pedophile, view the video of kids. You let a activist who is blatantly lying and spreading false information about me, my son, and everybody else, you let them look. I what? Not only that, I asked him straight up who was responsible for allowing school property to be used 3 weeks after my son was murdered at the same exact stadium. After fumbling, I said, it's either you or someone else. Who is it? He said, it's me. You made the decision to let a white supremacist hold a rally on the same grounds my son was murdered 3 weeks prior. Everyone thought I was going to jump on board with this jackass Jake Lang. Well, guess what? My friend Bruce Carter, yeah, the big black boy with the cowboy hat on, yeah, my buddy. I said, Bruce, you have to go in my place. The DA says I can't go. So Bruce shows up and says, hey, did you ask Jeff to use his son's image? No, Jeff.
And this true, because if you look for the video right now when Jake Lang went out there to protest, it was a black man that came up to him with a phone out. And then you can hear Jeff Metcalf speak to say he not rocking with this, because as you just heard, he going hard on the school, the superintendent, who is a white man, for the way that he handled this whole situation. They was using the video as property of Frisco ISD, letting all kind of folks see it that have nothing to do with him and his people. And it's the first time he viewing it as well. You feel me? So think about if this was you and they played on you just like this. They do it to black parents all the time when these things happen, but it's happening to a white man. So then now we supposed to act like we ain't hear what bro saying. You feel me? Come on, man. We getting played through the media, and these folks profiting off pushing straight lies. And real people is actually beefing off of people that made up lies, and you're not even hearing it from the folks who was really involved.
Stands with us. No, he doesn't. Jeff sent me. Bruce calls me.
Oh, so for Buddy right here with this comment, so he's gonna explain it, but this is why it's a difference in men. The reason why he was mad is because they allowed Carmelo to graduate, but they wanted him to do a private ceremony for his son and not do it in front of the public with his twin brother. He had a problem with that. I would have one too. So you're gonna let him graduate and it ain't no spectacle, but if my son do, it's a problem. So you wouldn't nut up in that situation? Because that's why he made it a big deal. See, this is why you need to understand the facts. Okay. And then you say the way the father acts, it's not hard to believe his sons act like him. He's acting like a man, bro. So let me tell you, I see you putting this stuff in here about being a Christian. So somebody come and take your son from you for some petty nonsense that should have been a fist fight at best. And then now the whole world is mocking him calling him racist and all these things that didn't apply to him, even though his life gone. And I'm supposed to turn the other cheek to you because a Christian. This why folks turning away from the church. Boy, if that's your ideology, you crazy.
Tells me where he's at. Tell me what's going on. I had no clue I was on speakerphone at that moment. So I'll let Mr. Lang speak. Gave him his time. Talked about I should be upset and lashing out at the black people and all white people should be mad. And here's the good thing, guys. Like I said before, I'm not racist against whites or black. Exact words were this. Mr. Lang, you, my friend, are part of the fucking problem. I don't condone what you do. I am not associated with you. Take my son's name off your website. Do not use his image ever again. I don't support you. Don't ever mention my name. So all the black people went, oh, well, maybe he's not racist. No shit. Like I said, if you're an asshole, I don't care. I don't like you. Jake Lang is an asshole. He's a white asshole. Charleston White. He's a black asshole. Jackie Chan, if you don't like him, he's a Chinese asshole. I don't care. It don't matter. Frisco ISD then proceeded to do this. This was the icing on the cake for me. Me and Megan went to the school board, went to the school officiating building, asked for a meeting. They granted it. And all we asked for was to have Austin's name read and give a posthumous diploma to his brother. That's it. No big hoopla, no special stopping, no big banners and signs, no bands, nothing. Read his name, empty seat, give his brother his diploma. That's it. They said no. We'll give you some other options. We can do a private ceremony where it's just y'all. What? The response from one of the women across the table was, well, we've had more than one student die this year. Before I could open my mouth, Mama Bear let loose and said directly to her, how many of those students were murdered on school property? She couldn't answer. She answered for her.
Bro, tell me you don't feel that. If you are a parent and they come tell you that the person that unalive your kid can graduate, but yours can't get no type of mention or nothing at their graduation with their twin brother now. Okay? You cool with that?
Her. One, Austin. We left that building. They said, Mr. Waltrip's not in the building at the moment. Okay. Because then they tried to pawn it off. Dr. Mims. Hi, Dr. Mims. Remember me? Sure you do. Because I slid across the emails that were sent to Waltrip. I said, this is why you folded. You're going to look me in the eye right now and tell me you're going to give a diploma to a murderer, but you're not going to give one to my son who was murdered at school under your watch. He said, it's comes from above. I said, the only person above is Mr. Waltrip. I said, I will wait out front until he returns. So I walked out front. I asked the receptionist, please, I need to see Mr. Waltrip as soon as he's available. I'll sit down with Megan. For 20 minutes, we wait. Then his secretary comes down and says, I'm so sorry, Mr. Walshup's not in the building today. What did he do? Run out and hide? Bullshit. He didn't want to face me again. I don't blame him, because I'd have ripped his ass up, tore him apart, spit him out in small chunks.
He talking about white people now.
I told Dr. Mims what I'm going to do. When I walk out of here today, I'm going to contact every news reporter I know, every social media influencer, every person who will listen. And I'm going to scorch you and tell them that you denied my son a diploma. Let's talk about 3 weeks earlier. Oh, that's right. You had an elementary teacher who got arrested for taking pictures of little boys. You think Frisco ISD doesn't have egg on his face already? You tripped over this murder case time after time. You can't wipe your face. It's fucking stained. What's the motto? Know every child's name. You're the leaders. I'm supposed to trust you with my kids. I trusted you with my kids. And what'd you do? You didn't have proper security in place. You didn't scan the athletes. How did he get a knife into the track meet? Because you're negligent. That's why.
Hey, and it's a good point right here, bro. So he said, seemed like the school was on Carmelo's side. So that's why the whole narrative that everything, because this Frisco is a white area for sure. So you would think it should have been the other way around. But what reason do he got to sit up here and lie? He's naming facts because we heard about Carmelo graduating. So we know that he did. So he's telling you what they said to him. Like, come on. So how his son didn't get no grace and then the other side did. So it's literally the exact opposite of the way it was being painted the whole time. When the way that the stuff is unfolding before they get to the courtroom. So you can see where the frustration and the anger come from. Take his race out of this. If you was in his position, would you be mad or not? Based on what you've been hearing so far. And remember, this is a live stream. This is not no edited video. This is just him coming off the top.
What'd you do afterwards? Oh, change the rules. Oh shit, we gotta do something. Yeah, you done fucked up. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, you're right, because they didn't go to the same school, but that's why he was going to the school board, because they was under the same school board. You see what I'm saying? The same district. So he was going to the head man of that district saying, why can't you do this at this school and in my school you talking? So it literally made no sense what they was doing, because it was not being fair to him and his family, bro. But they had all the accommodations for Carmelo, even though the case ain't happened. So how can you explain Carmelo, who was the clear person that took a life, versus the one who, like, even if a bullet was going on, if anything and everything was going on, if you gonna let one graduate, you definitely should let both. I'm just saying.
Now? Resign? Retire? Good move, Mike. How's your wife, Lisa? You can run. You can never hide. You're a shit stain on Frisco ISD for the past 9 years as superintendent. Despicable coward who folds like a cheap tent under pressure from a piss poor activist nobody who does infomercials about his company.
Hey, they talking about Dominique. So Dominique was for sure documented by the father as applying pressure to the school board, well, basically all over this Dallas area on behalf of Carmelo. Because the reason why they was folding to this pressure, because that Democratic press that they was going to be able to get behind this will make anybody's position at risk in any area of government within that state, that especially in that county. You feel me? So it's clear that was going on. The father then said it, and then Dominique Alexander said it. The only people that's trying to disagree with his impact is not the Anthony family. That's very coincidental, don't you think?
Let me be clear that you're a fucking idiot, Dominique. Let me be clear. You couldn't put two sentences together without Chat GPT. Tiffany Billions. I don't know what kind of glamour shot you steal from other people and put up on your profile, but it don't match to your fucking goddamn water buffalo looking ass when I saw you at the courthouse. Charleston White, you look like a fucking crackhead. Even though you got money, you're the only smart person around. Ooh.
Hey, he was finna say it. Hey,
Ooh.
when I seen this,
Drew,
he was definitely saying you were the only smart nigga around. Big facts. Hey, that's just a fact. He coming off the top unfiltered.
you just an idiot. If y'all want to talk to me, you know where I am. You never once apologized. You never once said you were sorry. You lied your ass off and tried to tell people you paid to offer to pay for my boy's funeral. You couldn't even offer your hand for a handshake. You're a grifting piece of shit. Your character says it all. I don't have to say a damn word. Your actions speak for themselves. You and your little faggot bow tie? What the hell is that, dude? Maybe you and Chris King are butt buddies. Like y'all swap ties and shit. I don't know. He lives in Washington and he's lived here in Plano. He thinks he's some intelligent dude. Really? A 1989 Saab. Oh, I'm fucking impressed. Ooh. Look at me. I talk to my shit all day long. You put it on people so they can see me. I think you have some serious insecurities, bro. I'm a lawyer. Who gives a fuck? You're not a very good one. Oh, I've done this. I've done that. You have to brag on yourself. You have to blow your own fucking horn. Really? You're not a man, dude. You just want attention. Maybe your parents didn't give you love when you were little. I don't know. I don't know the way you are. Why? I can't explain it. And you know why? I don't give a shit. You're nothing to me. But yet, what'd you come up with the word? Metcalfians. I live in your head every day because you talk about me every day. Dude, thank you. I'm so flattered that you think about me. But I'm not your type. Sorry. I figure in a couple months you'll move on to the next hot topic. Or you'll have some legal crusade you can join, maybe. Or
Hey, so this is the whole thing that I've been trying to point out for a minute is that we the ones that's being played. We are the ones that garner the attention and wholeheartedly get behind causes and giving our energy without real thought. Now, it's definitely a sector of Americans outside of just black that do it too, but we do it the best. We gonna come with the memes, we gonna come with the videos, the songs, like we take it to a whole nother level. That's why they want to get us involved. Everybody eats and profits over this, and it lead to us in further destruction. You feel me? But nobody want to come in here. You see how it's never popular when it's time to have these type of conversations. When your narrative and your so-called truth is supposed to get challenged on them. Nobody ever want to be here for that part. They just rather live in a delusion and trauma bond and play games all day long.
lead, possibly, in your 89 Saab. And the only thing about you is I like your dog. That's about it. In your house, dude, I'm not one to judge, but you don't live in some sprawling mansion. Really? Clean your house. You look like a fucking hoarder. Better yet, once you have Tiffany move in and y'all could live together and do a podcast, that would be fun. Stay out of my life. I'm not inviting you in. Go find somebody, go kick rocks in somebody else's backyard. Because if you come in my backyard, you won't be kicking rocks. I promise. To all the people that still want to come fuck with me, go ahead. I'm here. Guess what? I've taken every single blow you have given. And guess what? I'm still standing. I'm still here. All you irrelevant pieces of shit are going to dissipate. Like a piece of shit in my toilet. When I flush it, it just goes away. The same way, dude. You're all going to go away. Because guess what? Guess what? You can't make no more money. He's guilty. No more TikToks and debating. Oh my God, Mr. Metcalf is this. He did this. Oh my God, look, Carmelo's a little baby. He's innocent. No, he's fucking guilty. He's going to prison. Yay! Am I supposed to be excited? Guess what? I'm not. Because I don't promote and I don't accept. I feel sorry for that young man. He's fixing to live a living hell. Not that he doesn't deserve it. Yes, he does. But I'm human. And I'm sorry. I don't wish harm or ill will on anyone. It's not the Christian thing to do, man. It's not the way I was raised. It's not what I was taught. I don't know if it's right or wrong. I just know it is what it is. You be you, I'll be me. You stay in your lane, I stay in mine. I respect you, you respect me. We get along. We don't fight. We don't stab each other in the heart. If we have a disagreement, you know what? We can use words. And also, we can agree to disagree, and that's okay. But what's not okay is when you lose control and you do something that you can't take back. And now you're responsible. Let's open up for some questions, guys.
Hey, so right here, right? It's a lot of people that was going with the whole angle that this family was white supremacists. These boys was known bullies, and they was doing all these things to people. And there was a backstory between them boys and Carmelo. They from a party from before. That's why he felt like he had to have the knife to protect himself. None of that ever came out in court at all. Hunter, once again, this video right here, 3 hours long. I'm not gonna play every piece of that. I'm giving you some key details. I hope you go watch it for yourself if you so invested, like me, who have a strong opinion about it, right? Because I actually went to go be informed and hear all sides. That man said Hunter was available on the witness list for the defense. They never called him. So if all these things that was alleged that would literally have been the proof to save his life and the defense never used it, even though this wasn't a public defender defense, they paid for it. If you don't know anything about this, you know there was no way that they didn't know what the witness list, they didn't know what the plan was going to be. Okay, but they knew that they could not bring up why Carmelo is the only one that could prove his self-defense, but he chose not to get on the stand. And I understand why, because the prosecution would have ate him alive. That's why the team probably told him, do not go testify. They ain't never called Hunter to go testify, and they didn't need him to go up there and relive his brother death, murder, when he got 21 other people who can come, who was there, who seen it too. Like, come on, this ain't really rocket science, bro. So you got this man up here being unfiltered, all right? Because he just lost his son and he's speaking from the heart. He ain't trying to be politically correct. He ain't no politician. See, y'all keep looking to try to find fault in everything as if you a perfect man, a woman, a father, or a parent, whatever the case may be. This man having a vulnerable moment to go and say what he got to say to the world with no cut on it, no filter. And here people trying to say, you don't know this man. You don't know how he raised them boys the same way we don't know how Carmelo was raised. We don't know them people. So how you just gonna take this and say something like that? You sound ignorant, bro. But I want you to hear some more of what he had to say, because we had always been listening to Carmelo's side and all this. Black people do not want to hear this shit. They don't want to hear the truth. So many folks so-called mad at me. I bet you they'll never watch this. I bet you they would never take the time to hear what these folk got to say and get their own perspective when you analyze this here. Why? Because people don't want their paradigm challenged. They want to feel like they righteous right now and they going for something. Not understanding you was given this to be outraged about when it's not even a worthy cause. That just is what it is.
Okay. I know you've been under the gag order for the past year, and I really hope that this was some sort of release for you. 100% that's what this was for.
I'll be honest, it is. I'll be honest, it's very therapeutic. I will apologize for the colorful language. I try to refrain from that, but this is the first time in over a year that I'm able to speak. And I feel like the muzzle has been taken off, and I'm a racehorse at the Kentucky Derby in the gates, just waiting for it to open. And, you know, if I offended somebody tonight, I'm sorry, but get over it.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeff. You certainly didn't offend me at any point. You have every right to say whatever you want to say. The first question I'm going to ask you, and this is a question that a lot of people have been asking me too, it's one of the biggest ones floating around, is do you plan on filing a civil suit?
To be honest, I can answer that question honestly. I do not know at this time what I'm going to do in the future. I was so focused on just getting through the trial. That was the biggest hurdle and the most weight on my shoulders and the most anxiety. So I really wasn't planning that far ahead. Is it an option? Yeah, I'll explore it. Is it worth my time? I don't know yet. Because realistically, I want to move on. I don't want to keep dragging things out. And if they spend all the money, there's nothing to get anyway. So I really don't care. Money's not going to bring my son back. Going after them, even if I bankrupt them or whatever, it's not going to bring my son back. And you have to learn forgiveness. And God's going to take care of the rest. Next question.
Bro, see, this is what I'm saying. This incident happened in 2025. You know that, right? April 2025. So this move pretty fast. So that's why it's important to have the right information.
Okay. Next question. And real quick for people who are requesting, if I don't know you, we're not accepting any requests. So if you want to ask a question, please ask in the purple pill. Or if you're on Rumble, obviously ask on Rumble. Next question is, they want you to talk about the swattings.
Oh my goodness, the swatting. Yeah. So the first time, first of all, there was a total of 6 for me and twice for Megan. The first time.
So for the family, that's 8. So what he about to go on and describe is the police being called to his house because they're saying that he's done something or they're getting a tip from somebody, basically swatting. Say it happened total of 8 times to their family. Same thing to the Anthony family, right? So that's what they say. We don't know. They say he was getting threats, but he said he was getting swatted. So the police was coming to him. They said that the Anthony family was saying they just feared for their life. I don't know if they had the police show up to their house or not. It's also not provable if they actually use that money to move. I ain't sitting here to lie on the people. I couldn't prove that, right? But what we do know is they did raise $600,000, and they haven't said exactly what Mike Howard cost. I'm pretty sure they didn't spend that whole 600,000 on their defense. I just don't see it. Although, matter of fact, let me take you over here, buddy. So yeah, you want to know the whole thing? Jinxed Sip. You see this logo here on this video. On if you go to X, the whole 3 hour thing is there. You can go listen to it, make your own judgment. But I'm trying to show you the difference between men, because right now I see the Metcalf daddy. He's stepping behind his son. He naming names. He being very clear and direct. He ain't doing all this mumbling, bumbling, and fumbling. He's laid it all on the line. Versus when we was playing Andrew Anthony, the father, he talking. He can't never be direct in what he's saying. He don't want to name names. He keep looking off. He not being a man handling this direct. You can tell that his leadership is weak. It's probably where his son get it from. But we don't want to talk about these things because his son was running and doing things in a cowardly manner and wanted to cop out after he realized what he had done. When it could have been avoided. And everybody was trying to make it this thing because these grifters got a hold of it and they took it crazy. So check it out. Check out what Buddy say. So right now, Dominique Alexander and the family, it seemed like they at odds. Right? So the Alexander, he gonna do his own interview because he getting slandered because everybody think that the legal decisions was on his behalf. Now watch what he got to say.
All right. So that's you guys, and just wanted to show people a little bit of you guys' connection. Now, fast forward, he needs an attorney, right? He gets a bond, he gets out on release, or tell us how that went leading up to where Mike Howard comes in, because there's a lot of confusion about Mike Howard and things like that, and they think that you brought him to the family or anything. Can you clarify? Can you speak to that?
It's one of the things that Nick, I literally found out this was going on real quick. The bond hearing was set for a Tuesday. Mike Howard was hired before the bond hearing. Okay. Mike Howard was hired 4 or 5 days after the incident. Mike Howard was hired on a Sunday. The family literally interviewed probably several attorneys. Okay. Andrew met with multiple different attorneys. Out of the 9 attorneys that they met with in our office, 7 of them were Black. And I told somebody earlier today, I said, what I'm not gonna do is sit here and explain myself and act like it was a whole bunch of Black attorneys in April of 2025 ready to go to Collin County. If anybody's telling you that, they're lying, and the truth ain't in them.
You said half of them were Black when they interviewed, or
half of them, more than half of them were Black that they met with, right?
Okay, so let's be clear. So you remember they was asking, people have been questioning, why did he have an all-white counsel? And they even asked the parents that when they was on the Breakfast Club. And he said that's what his verbatim is what the father said, is that's what they advise us to do. He never said who they was. He ain't being direct. Who is they? That could be your family. That could be Buddy. That could be who knows the other. You know what I'm saying? You're not being direct in this moment. And so obviously a lot of people was pointing to him. So he making it clear that, bro, I'm not involved. Basically, his job was to get publicity. And we all know, oh, he did that. Because everybody, the whole reason why it got ignited to be a race war was really off of his behalf. If we keep it in a book. So I think he is not built to be, he got to have some type of effectiveness because he was moving and shaking with that grift. But as far as vocalizing it and being that, he ain't good at that, because we all know when they first heard him talk in the beginning, there was a lot of distrust and everything he had going on. But I gotta be unbiased. I can't hate on this man and say that he did not get the word out, because he did.
As an organization, we can't choose an attorney. We can't even be in a room because of attorney-client privilege. There's no credible attorney that is going to even want me in the room or anybody from our organization in the room at that time. Let alone, this is a sole choice. We've been around for 12 years, and like, this is not my first rodeo. We have cases of Crystal Mason that was sentenced to 5 years for illegal voting in the state of Texas. Like, you know, we do not get in the practice of
This is why in the conscious community they be talking crazy. So yes, of course, here at the autonomous party, we know the court system, the kangaroo courts, and the attorneys who participate in them is a fraudulent system. However, murder is a real constitutional crime before these statute courts existed. So it's like, bro, you go in there and represent yourself if you want to, talking about statutes and codes on a murder charge, your ass is out of there.
choosing attorneys for families. Mike Howard was sent by a recommendation by many different people, links and everything. Whoever was literally available to be able that wanted to consider this case. Now, mind you, as people are looking at this, they have to remember this is not Dallas County. This is Collin County. So one, you have to have somebody even willing that want to actually practice in Collin County. This is a county that has a real history of racism and bigotry, and we saw that displayed. And so all of a sudden, when this situation go down, it's like I'm seeing all these social media posts from different people talking about I would have did this, I would have did that, and I'm like, well, my phone number and my email is on every one of my social media accounts. So if you had interest in being part of the Carmelo Anthony case, you could have emailed and made that concern known.
So do you know who gave them the recommendation to hire a white attorney?
It wasn't a, a recommendation. There were multiple different people, even including people in their family, about this white county, about hiring a white attorney or a black attorney. But it wasn't just about solely hiring a white attorney. Let me make this very clear. Mike Howard was hired. Toby Shook was added by Mike Howard as his second chair. The family didn't choose Toby Shook, right? Okay. So it wasn't no all white lawyer team or whatever it is. They didn't hire that. You know what I mean? And even to be transparent, I even had them in requesting and saying, hey, y'all need to add a black attorney on multiple different things. I can't sit here and go right now and talk about all of the things that we talked about, but some of the sentiments that people have, I share with them personally,
So,
right?
okay, so basically what I'm gathering is people felt that because, and this is just kind of what I'm gathering, people felt that because the town and the infrastructure of the courthouse is racist, it might be better to get a white attorney to get better outcome. Is that what the thinking was?
That was some of the thinking, but the reality is that the reality that there were so many different black attorneys rushing for this case, that's just not true.
So he, once again, being a good orator, that's not his thing. But what he's saying plain and clear, when you analyze what his words, is that there was not an overwhelming amount of attorneys who wanted to take this case, regardless of skin color. But of the ones who were available, there was a decent size of black attorneys. Okay, And the Anthony family was the ones who was in the room with these people, interviewing with them, going over the case. It was not him. He was not allowed to be in there due to attorney-client privilege. He right about that, right? That all makes sense. So they picked this man, and they did it based off their own feeling and their family. And so they saying that that's why they chose a white person. So okay, I can understand a white county. You want a white lawyer. You're not trying to make it racial. I don't know, but I could that at least makes some sense. So if that's what you did and you went with your move, now you're trying to come back and throw everybody under the bus. You don't want to have no accountability. You throwing this man. This man went to war for y'all. The father said this man named multiple times. He was up there. He was the reason why that stuff happened at the school board and Carmelo was able to graduate. He the reason why they was able to raise that $600,000 because without that press, they wouldn't have did it. You and I both know without that press he got behind it, he would have not had that type of support. So clearly he was effective. And I don't even rock with how he moving. I don't like grifters, but I can't say that his grift wasn't effective if it produced all that media and over $600,000. You see what I'm saying? He had all type of big dogs, but why y'all think Ben Crump and the usual Al Sharpton and the usual suspects ain't hop on this? The same reason why they ain't have a lot of lawyers that wanted to hop on it because they knew it was a bad case. Once they heard what the rumblings was from the police report and the facts that they knew at that time, boy, they knew that was a hard case. That's why the black attorney who did he mentioned how one black attorney gave him a quote of $500,000. And the reason why they asked for that type of money is because they knew that's what it would take to be able to beat this case. Because it was you commit it was undisputed that you did it. You literally admitted on the scene. The weapon was there. You got buku witnesses and a video. Like, bro, it don't matter what state that you are in, that's not gonna end well, right? So once again, the Anthony family, the man in the family, is not being accountable for his actions. He blaming everybody else. He don't know nothing. The Metcalf father, that man been suing on this. He made sure that he dedicated his whole life to how this case was gonna turn out. But then we got Andrew Anthony up here acting like he don't know what was happening. He don't know why this happened. He didn't know why the defense didn't do this, even though he paid for them and he's supposed to have been there every lockstep of the way to know what's happening in his defense of his son. Tell me what sense that made, bro. So now they trying to put it on him, and he telling them, "Nah, this ain't got nothing to do with me. We went according to the plan. The plan just ain't play out." So watch this here. I know y'all been seeing the clips on how the Metcalf daddy had the watermelon felon. He literally set y'all up because if you go watch the interview, he goes and says, "Hey, look, so I'm gonna give y'all something racist that y'all can use for clickbait." He literally says this and then makes the saying, and what the black balls got, that's what they got. And they also talking about this right here. And I like this. Watch this.
Well, that day is ended. I'm telling you up front right now. This is a warning. Karma's a bitch. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. I don't have to come after you. It's going to take care of itself. People are going to see you for who you really are now. And if we want to talk individuals, we can, because I couldn't speak about this in court. But I can speak freely now because the gag order is lifted. Tiffany Billions, Wackadoo, McAdoo, whatever her last name is, I'm not going to throw insults at you because I'm not going to lower myself to your level. But you're despicable. Drew Anthony, Kayla, you're cowards. You wouldn't even show up for your son's sentencing or victim statement impact. You abandoned your kid. You left him there. I guess he's no more use to you because you can't get any more GoFundMe money or Go Send Go money. You are grifters. You should be ashamed of yourself. You raised that child. And I swear to God, CPS to come check on those other three that you still have. You never once admitted or took accountability. You tried to play victim. The real victim is the one who died, not the one who shoved a knife in his chest. I come to pray with you and show the world we can close the gap of this unbelievable racial divide. And what'd you do? You widen the gap even further. You hire a convicted, baby shaking felon who's only in it for the money, who gives you bad advice, kicks me out of a press conference. Oh, funny. I was somewhere I wasn't supposed to be, but I left when asked. I didn't stab anyone. And then you proceeded to gaslight me with your convicted felon, quote, advocate, minister? Minister of what? Minister irrelevant? Minister of bullshit? How about minister fuck you? Y'all think I'm a saint? I'm no saint. I'm as human as you. I have a turn it to wine. And anybody else can, step up. Don't become kicking rocks in my backyard. Look in your own. The display of adults on the internet. If your children saw how you acted, would you be proud? Or is that what you teach them? Do you teach them that racism is okay? Do you teach them? Do you inbred? Do you program your kids to hate, to kill? From day one, I said this was never about race. Please don't make it about race and don't politicize it. And what did you do? You chose both. The race card, black fatigue, it's real. I'm sorry. You have embarrassed your own culture and race. Don't get me wrong, we got white people that embarrass the shit out of me too. But you guys, you got a patent on that shit. And the only people that's going to change it are you. Don't blame the white person because we can't change it. But you're going to blame the white person for every fucking thing else. We're the bad ones. We're the one that held you down. Guess what? You can do everything in America that I can do. Tell me one thing you can't do that I can't do. We all have equal rights. What's it say? All men are created equal. The First Amendment protects free speech. I'm for it. Free speech doesn't guarantee you safety. Perfect example, Charlie Kirk, a man who I admired, looked up to. You know why? Because he could fight with words and logic. He didn't need fists, guns, or knives. No, he sat down and talked with you. How do you solve any situation when there's a problem? Communication. Charlie was an expert. That's one person I admit I would not want to debate. He was a walking check.
So hey, they wanted to peek into my mind. They say, "Hey, bro, you crazy? You tripping? Where you get these thoughts from?" It's because I go and I listen from the moment this case happened. I followed it. I kept track with it. When it actually went down, I went and read the witness statements as the trial is going on, all the details that the actual news stations that was there, because there was no phones, no video allowed. It was only written notes about what transpired. Okay. I'm getting all the information that I'm seeing real time, that it is literal publications. You got you want to call them right wing, then you got your left side. They both spinning two different crazy narratives that's outside of the truth to fuel up this division, and it's working on overtime. They do it like clockwork, and we steady fall for it. Okay, and when it happens, nobody cares about the truth of the matter. Like, are we actually into it over a real cause, or Is this something that we shouldn't even be paying this no attention? Hey, I don't wish for your whole world to end, brother, but you got to go take some accountability for what you did because you took somebody's life, bro. It just is what it is. But then they want to play with us in our community, and we take this race bait. We take it so quickly and easily, and we take it to the extreme without no real proof, and then nobody want to come back and hear the truth and fix the matter at hand. We just rather go deeper and deeper into this shit. Get into it with your own people. Make threats. It's grown ass men talking about how they gonna pull up on me and what they gonna do by me for a nigga they never even met, who was guilty and didn't deserve all this support because his own daddy not stepping for him like that. His daddy up there being a coward while the white man calling him out saying all this, and y'all ready to step for him, but he won't do it for his own son and family. So you tell me who really crazy. So you willing to go do all this about another man's kids and you won't do that for your own. Bro, man, I gotta cut it out, man. It's really hypocrisy at its finest. We need all that energy for a whole lot of things. Right now, the autonomousparty.com, we've been putting out historical documents. We've been doing genealogy. We've been helping people get a better knowledge of self to operate differently out here for free. We've been spending our money to do this. When we do these seminars and different things we do, it ain't no whole bunch of support. But as soon as we get to talk about social events and politics, man, everybody want to come around with all these opinions, but ain't doing nothing and ain't offering, ain't putting themselves on Front Street with their opinions, their ideas, their solutions, because they always ask us, what's the plan? Well, we got what we doing at the autonomousparty.com, but we ain't y'all nigga savior to have a plan for each and every Black American that ever existed. That's your job as a man or a woman to guide your family destiny and make sure they don't end up in traps that's already been set for us that we already know. Why would you put yourself in the hands of the judicial system when we know what it is? As parents, we got enough things that we got to deal with. All these outside influences taking away on what these kids learning in our home. And we should be able to share that in common. But instead, we'll take sheer ignorance and then look down on our fellow man and talk crazy, setting a bad example. That's why these kids acting the way they acting. That's why they don't respect no old niggas because y'all ain't on shit. That just is what it is. So before you be getting out here ready to crash, ready to throw your whole life away behind some racial shit that was concocted for you to be mesmerized by, go find out if the shit is even true because the boy was guilty. He went out like a coward. His family is cowards and they're not standing on that. And they're trying to get this white man and create another version of this so they can keep making money off of this. You can see right now the Black people already at odds, the Dominique Alexander and the family, because now it's over. If they don't get this appeal thing going, which he got a long shot to do this. These are just facts. So, hey, look, I'm just one of the ones that's willing to get out here and stand on what I believe in based on my research from an autonomous perspective, because that's the mission that was given to me, and I'm gonna complete it. You feel me? Or die trying. You hear me? So with that being said, man, it's your homeboy reporting with the news, and I'm gone, man. Appreciate y'all that tapped in. And if we don't do it, it ain't gonna happen. Ain't no white people or no Black Messiah finna come save you, bro. So you do with that what you will, but on the autonomous side, you already know what time it is.